What is up, skate rats? So I just got back from Woodward, and it is not what you expect.
Seal it out.
Seal.
Oh, what was that? Something's there. Oh no. There's something.
He's hurt.
I'm going to rifle through this fairly quickly. I only went to Woodward to practice very specific tricks on a various amount of obstacles because I kind of just assumed all that would be there. So the first one was 50-50s. I didn't necessarily intend to practice 50-50s. I just did a couple to warm up on my first day, and then me and Jacob kind of just competed back and forth with them. Like, oh, I'm going to skate this ledge, it's a little tall, oh, I'll skate it too. And then he pitched the idea of the hubbas because he said he did them some weeks prior, so I was like, well, if you did them, I could do them. And yeah, I've never jumped on a 20-foot long hubba, so that was sick. From there, we do like the wall rides. There's a street spot I want to go check out, so I saw the wall ride spots and I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. And hey, I was able to do them. The one is like a perfect replica of the China Banks, and I think the benches are a little shorter, or in the street spot it's a little longer, but at Woodward it's a little shorter. And I wasn't able to like carve around the whole thing, so I just kind of started playing with popping off of the edge, and I got the pop shove it, so I was stoked on that. From there we moved to the ollies. So in the sense of boosting off of ramps, there was like a 2-year period when I was beginning to learn how to skate where I was doing ollies a bunch, and I was able to boost off of ramps pretty well. But as I got older, the type of ollie I do doesn't really work for it. I do this very quick sliding motion with my foot, and I retract my foot back, which works really well for popping up stuff and resetting in midair. But it doesn't work good for boosting off of ramps. So when I was there, I was like, you know what? Mitchy Brusco, he says that he picks his foot up a lot instead of sliding the foot. Let's try that, and it kind of just started to work out. Now, there is other Euro gaps I did skate there. They're on my friend Jacob's phone. I was hoping I'd have the footage by now, but he hasn't edited it yet. That will probably come out in some shorts. But I was able to do a couple of those. Next is to the street plants I did. So the first one was kind of just like spur of the moment. I was in a park where I really couldn't do a ton of stuff. And I always saw this and I was like, you know what? I'll try to hurdle over this and I'll try to go down this weird sloped bank into this like roll-in. And it worked out. But the one I was really hyped on was practicing the one with the front side flip over the rail. That is a trick that I want to do in the streets, so when I saw the rail in Sheckler's Park, I was like, okay, I'm going to wake up early on the last day. I'm going to head out there because obviously my arm is still pretty bruised, so I needed a day to recover on that. And I ended up jumping down that rail probably 20 times and got it pretty clean, so I was definitely stoked on that. The last thing I want to touch on is the board slides. So I went there specifically hoping to jump down some rails and things like that, which I did. And backboard is not my best trick. I rather do front board any day of the week, but going down stuff, I was like, okay, it's got to be backboard for me. And I did find out if I was on something that was too long and I started to lose balance, going out to fakie definitely like corrected that. And I wish I went out to regular on most of these, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not happy. Because the first one I did was the diamond grind rail. That one I was able to come out on regular. That was about 10 feet long. The next one I did was the up rail. That thing is nuts. It starts at like shin height and goes up to your waist. So that was probably 30 or 40 tries. And it's, like a 6-stair impact coming off of it. But I got really hyped on that. The 20-some foot flat bar going up. You need so much speed. You got to cook at that thing. But I got up it. And the last one was the kinked rail. I've never board slid a kinked rail. So while it was small, I was really hyped on that. But let's talk about what I didn't expect at Woodward. So the first thing I didn't expect was there was only about 100 to 150 people. I really figured it was going to be packed beyond belief. So like running in and meeting people and just like kind of talking to them throughout the entire weekend was really easy. Like I met Josh Katz, I met Skate Wives, which are people who I enjoy watching their content and stuff like that. And Josh Katz actually was in my cabin. So I had 5 or 6 conversations with him. He's a pretty rad dude. So that was cool, something that was unexpected. The other thing that wasn't unexpected was the age groups. So I was in like the top 10 youngest. There was ages anywhere from like 19, I would say was like the youngest girl I may have seen, up to in their 60s. And guys cruising, skating bowls, getting back into it. People riding just like surf skates around, rollerblades to roller skates. It was such a cool vibe when it comes to things like that. And to add to that a little bit, the other thing that I didn't expect was there was this group called Brooklyn Skate Moms. I believe it's 3 or 4 girls. And they actually had like a social media post out where 20 or 30 girls came out to learn how to skate. So they had such an insane, crazy vibe to them. Now the mid-tier stuff, not necessarily the end of the world, but things that did annoy me just a hair was the fact that drinking is allowed. And that was like shocking to me. Now, the only rules of revolving around drinking was you had to drink in your cabin and you couldn't skate if you were visually impaired. So most people saved the drinking for at night. The parks closed at 10 p.m. and you were allowed to technically drink until 12 and party till 12. And then at midnight, you're supposed to have a quiet time. Nobody really followed the quiet time. No one really followed the rules that much. So in my cabin, there was 10 of us, and the cabins looked like this. And about 6 of us, I would say, would try to go to bed around 1 o'clock in the morning, but the other guys would party until 3 or 4, and I know some of us were kind of getting fed up with it. I did bring my van, and the intention was that if I got annoyed sleeping with 10 guys, that I would go out to the van and just sleep by myself. But that kind of felt weird because a few guys in my bunk were super nice and we'd have these like awesome conversations, while short, because we wanted to get out to the parks. It felt weird if I came out to my van, but there was days where I was up till 3, 4 in the morning. Like one guy, I don't know exactly what he was doing, but it sounded like he grabbed his board and started truck slapping the wall, and he did that for like over an hour drunk. So those were the things that were kind of like annoying. But now let's get into Woodward itself. First thing that really surprised me is that the skate parks really are not that good. They're odd dimensions, odd designs, crazy, insane, weird things. Some handrails let off, like after being a real steep handrail, let off 3 inches from the ground. Other ones let off, shoulder height. Some are super tall. So you can kind of find everything you want to skate, but you got to search and you got to dig. So on top of that, it's just mid-grade. It's if you take 5 or 10, 15 mid-grade parks of Pennsylvania and jam them together. That's kind of how you get East Coast Woodward. And my wife, when I told that to her, she's like, you're probably not going to want to go back next year, right? And I'm like, no, I would absolutely 100% I'd go back, because Woodward gave me this weird level of like false confidence, whereas, oh, I'm going to go jump on this 20-foot hubba because I'm at Woodward, thinking that it's any different than hubbas at a similar skate park. And it did push me. It did get me. And I mean, I know my friend Jacob did a lot of the pushing too, to get me to do bigger and better things. But it's just not what I expected. I didn't expect things to be really difficult to skate. I didn't expect you to have to battle things or wax the crap out of rusty ledges and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to round out this video with a small tidbit of information that was given to me by my friend Jacob, who worked there through the entire summer. And I thought this was very interesting. So a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Ricky online. And recently he just went through my channel. Surprised nobody told me about that. But apparently, in my friend's opinion, Ricky was the best pro to be brought out, because he said, from sunup to sundown every single day with the kids. The only exception to that was there was a 2-hour period where he skated with my friend Jacob and Jacob's roommate, because his roommate's making a VX tape. So they took him to a street-ish spot at Woodward on a Jersey barrier and filmed for 2 hours. But besides that, he was with the kids every single second he was there. A pro on his biggest shit list, the pro that he just doesn't even, like, if you mention his name, and it'll probably go like this for a few months, he gets upset, was Shane O'Neill. He said Shane O'Neill showed up, did his demo, talked to the kids for like his first day. About halfway through the day, he did that viral snake run, 3 tricks, which I bombed the snake run, and I was like, Jacob, did Shane O'Neill do the whole snake run? It is physically insane. Oh my God, I wanted to do it without, I know I'm getting off topic, but I wanted to do it without putting my foot down, so I drug my backhand through it. And you can't even, like, if you have never skated it, you don't even understand how fast you get through these insane obstacles. So guys like Jake Wooten, you guys are crazy. Anyway, back to Shane O'Neill. So apparently, like, after his first day, in the middle of the night, he just disappeared. And Woodward tried to contact him for a while, and he's just not answering at all. And these pros are paid to be there. So I don't know what exactly happened there. I'm not going to speculate, but a lot of kids were left really bummed out and really sad, because you pick what week you want to be there kind of based on the pro who's coming. So we're talking 400 or 500 kids, and maybe 100 of them are skaters. Those 100 wanted to be with Shane O'Neill, and it just didn't happen. Now, I'll say this at the rounding out of the video. For adult camp, I think it's absolutely worth it. If you can book a room with all your friends, I think it's better than if you're a sober person who doesn't want to deal with drunks. But for $450, which is what I paid, and $70 in gas, it was 100% worth it to be there for 3 nights, 4 days, with meals included and lodging. To send a kid there, though, in my opinion, at least on the East Coast one, it's really not worth it. Unless you're looking to get your kid to start skating contests or something, because it's $1,600. So, like, the Dern Brothers video they put out, which was over an hour, I think is a really awesome video, but you gotta take it with a grain of salt. And their mother in the video says it the best, where Woodward is the country club of skate parks. My opinion, though, call it a hot take, call it whatever you want. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and as always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Have a great day, and keep pushing forward, guys.